Hi everyone, I'm back again, and today I'm going to be doing the compatibility chart between Simone Biles and Jonathon Owens by request. Now, my viewer said to me that there's rumors going around that he doesn't really love her, and she wanted to know if he was just using her to further his career. So I'm going to get started and tell you what I found. His Venus, Mercury, and Lucifer conjuncts her vertex. 3 degrees for the planets and 0 degrees for the asteroid. He's arrogant, and he has a lot of pride and thinks that he, knows everything because that's what the asteroid Lucifer represents. His Venus and Mercury is also conjuncting her vertex. And I've said before, the vertex is a very important point in a compatibility chart. It's like a second ascendant, so you will receive those energies strongly. Venus is a love planet, and Mercury has to do with communication. So he did tell her that he loved her or loves her, and I think that there is love there so far. But I'm going to go over the rest of the chart so the whole picture forms and comes together. Her Chiron conjuncts his north node, 0 degrees, and her point of fortune conjuncts his Chiron, 2 degrees. So in this case, there's going to be pain on both sides of this relationship. And since her Chiron is conjuncting his north node at the tightest orb, that will be eventually the main theme of the relationship for him. And I've talked about Chiron so many times and I've also seen it play out when someone's Chiron is conjuncting another person's north node. I've seen it play out. Now, can there be healing? Yes, there can, but you have to remember, if you want healing in your relationship, there's going to be a lot of pain. Now, I don't know what kind of pain this is going to be because I don't have his accurate birth time, so I have to leave out the house placements, his moon, and the angles involved, but I can get some good information otherwise from this compatibility chart. Her Pholus conjuncts his Casanova, 0 degrees. Wow. Cheating. I would put money on this. Pholus has to do with an explosion. And Casanova, the sweet-talking ladies' man, seducer. And it can also mean cheating. And this is at 0 degrees, the tightest orb you could possibly get. Her Apophis conjuncts his Lilith, 0 degrees, and the asteroid Amor. That has to do with love. Apophis has to do with destruction. So since it's conjuncting his Lilith, that has to do with raw sexuality, I think that over time, there will be a breakdown in the intimacy between the two of them. All of a sudden, it could just fade out or actually just be cut off because there's other indications of that in this compatibility chart as well. And since her Apophis is conjuncting his Amor, also, he may one day wake up and just say, I'm done and I'm not in love anymore due to the Apophis energies. His Bluet conjuncts her IC, 1 degree, and Venus, the love planet. The IC is a very sensitive angle in a compatibility chart, and it's on the cusp of the 4th house that rules the home and the family, and it's where your inner child lives. So it's a very sensitive part. And since his Bluet is conjuncting her IC, he blew it. And it's conjuncting her Venus, the love planet. So he's going to blow it in some way in the love department. Her Jupiter conjuncts his Lysistrata, 0 degrees. Again, this ties back to her Apophis conjuncting his Lilith because Lysistrata has to do with sexual manipulation. Either you withhold sex or use it as a weapon, and it can also mean that there won't be any sex after a while because it's very manipulative with this asteroid, and her Jupiter is conjuncting it. So this is an explosion or a magnification of that energy, and at 0 degrees, guaranteed. So this again, like I said, goes back to the Apophis and his Lilith. And also, his Caputo conjuncts her Lilith 1 degree. Caputo, sweet talking ladies man, really an expert seducer in the sexual department with her. So, and this really ties into, all of this really ties into the 8th house overlay, because his sun, Venus, and Mercury overlays into her 8th house, and the 8th house rules sex. Now, the sun falling into her 8th, this means there's an intense primal magnetic attraction, and the sun is holding hands with Venus, and there's also a deep emotional attraction as well, and can also signify obsession. But they are very attracted to each other. So it's very interesting how a lot of this relationship, the core fabric to me, is really based on a very strong primal sexual attraction. And love can be as a second sort of thing. But I don't see a lot of major love asteroids between the two of them. If I had his accurate time of birth, that may come into play, but not from him towards her. It's on the weaker side compared to his extreme attraction for her. And I can't make an analysis about his moon into any of her houses because, like I said, I don't have his accurate birth time. So I'm going to move forward and tell you what else I came up with. His Saturn conjuncts her Sun, Mercury, and Venus, and the asteroid Agapanor. Also conjuncting his Saturn is Ascapulus and Lachesis. So this is very interesting. I'm going to do the planetary aspect first. His Saturn conjuncting her Sun, Mercury, and Venus. There's a glue here. And I don't think that she's going to be going anywhere anytime soon because of the Agapanor asteroid that has to do with unconditional love and friendship. But since his Saturn is conjuncting her Sun, he's going to try to tell her how to conduct her affairs, and he'll have a dampening effect on her ego. There's a control issue here because of his Mars is conjuncting her North Node as well. But Saturn is also conjuncting her Venus, so there's the glue, and it's conjuncting her Mercury. So he's going to tell her what to say or what not to say, because of his Ascapulus is conjuncting her Mercury and her Sun. And Ascapulus has to do with talebearing, talking, gossiping. So there's a restriction, I think, that he placed on her as far as that goes. And Lachesis is death marker. And so it's like, it's a stop. It's like, no talking, or this is how you talk, or this is how you present yourself in the public arena, so to speak. And the Mars, that further indicates that he will have a very direct effect, a controlling effect on her possibly, because Mars is a lower octave of Pluto, and there's control and on the way her life direction is going. Because also, this part to me is very problematic and major red flags. His Nessus trines her Sun in the 4th house at 1 degree, and Nessus has to do with abuse. And since it's trining her Sun, I think that he'll be abusive towards her. I don't know if it'll be physical, because Nessus is in the sign of Scorpio, and that has to do with power and control and sex. And also his Xanthopy is trining her Sun, so there's another indication of abuse, because that has to do with domestic abuse. His Okada trines her Moon 1 degree. That has to do with emotional abuse. And I think that also ties into the Lysistrata because of the withholding of sex and the manipulation involved with these energies. So, one more thing. his Pluto opposes her moon at 4 degrees, and his Pluto is in Scorpio. Pluto will want to emotionally control or remake the moon person, and the moon person will resent this attempt or power controls over them, and they will be it will make them feel vulnerable and very sensitive to this. And he has the power here, and he's going to try to control her emotionally and wear the pants. So that's all I have, and I hope this answered your question. Oh, the question was, I'm sorry, is he using her to better further his career? Looking at this chart, I'm going to say that it's not like that. There's such an intense sexual attraction between these two that the career part doesn't really come into play. So I will be back again soon with other synastry charts, and if you're interested, hit the subscribe button to stay in the loop. Have a nice day.